Alright, so section 10.7, video number 2, we're talking about polar coordinates, and we're going to look at another type of example here. So for our example, we want to write 3 other representations for each polar coordinate. Alright, so let's start with part A, and we're given the polar coordinate 1 comma negative pi over 4. So let's take a look at what this looks like. So we have a radius of 1, directed distance of 1, so I want to make a circle that has a radius of 1. So let's draw a circle in here. We'll label this 1, and let's find out where this point is. So I've got 1 positive, so I'm going to go to the right 1, and then I've got negative pi over 4, so I'm going to rotate in a clockwise direction down to the middle of the 4th quadrant right there. So here's my point right over there. So I went to the right, and then I rotated clockwise to get down there. So we have to figure out 3 other ways to get there. So the first way, again, I'm going to go out to the right, but this time I'm going to rotate a positive direction or counterclockwise. So I'm going to go all the way around the long way to get over to there. So for this one, so way number 1, I went to 1, and then instead of rotating negative pi over 4, I went positive 7 pi over 4. So the rest of the circle, we know the whole circle is 8 pi over 4. So if I went 1 this way, I have to go 7 the other way. So that's 7 pi over 4. So that's the first way. Now the other 2 ways involve starting by going to the left. So this would be negative 1. So I could go out to negative 1, and then I could rotate in a positive direction. So rotate counterclockwise and rotate this way. Alright, so the second way would be going to the left to negative 1, and then I'm rotating 3 pi over 4. Remember, if I went halfway around, it would be 4 pi over 4, so I'm 1 pi over 4 short of that. So that would be 3 pi over 4. And then the last way, again, would be going to the left, except now I'm going to rotate in a negative direction back this way to the point. Okay, so third way, I've got negative 1, and then I'm rotating in a negative direction. Now, if I went 3 pi over 4 this way, I know this blue angle and the green angle, they have to make the whole circle, so that would be 8 pi over 4. So I went 3 this way, so I've got to have 5 in the negative direction, so negative 5 pi over 4. And if you notice here, the 2 angles that go out to 1, or the two ways that we start by going out to 1, the angles, their absolute values add up to 2 pi, 8 pi over 4. And the 2 angles that start by going to the left to negative 1, those 2 angles, 3 pi over 4, and the absolute value of negative 5 pi over 4, those also add up to 8 pi over 4, which is 2 pi. Alright, so let's take a look at another example. So part B, let's start with the point negative 2 and pi over 3. So if you want to give this a shot on your own, feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, go ahead and follow along. So we're going to need a circle that has a radius of 2, because I have a directed distance of 2 here. You can draw 1 circle or 2 circles. That's really your choice. Right here, I'm just going to draw 1 circle, but I'm going to make sure to label it here that has a radius of 2. So I'm going to have to go out to negative 2 and then rotate in the positive direction pi over 3. So I'm going to rotate out to the, or I'm going to travel out to the left, and then rotate pi over 3, which is 60 degrees. So I'm going to rotate 60 degrees this way. So that's where I end up, right over there in the third quadrant. So now I have to figure out 3 other representations. So again, I could go out to the left, so that would be negative, except now I'm going to rotate all the way around until I get back to that same spot right over there. So for this one, this first way, we would have -2, and then I'm rotating in a negative direction. If this was pi over 3, then the red angle has to be the rest of the 360, so that would be 6 pi over 3. So I'm going to have -5 pi over 3. Alright, that takes care of the 2 that go in the negative direction. So now if I travel to the right first, to +2, then I could rotate up, which is positive, clockwise, or counterclockwise, this way. Okay, so our second one is going to be +2, and then if I went halfway around, that would be 3 pi over 3, so I went one more past that, so that would be 4 pi over 3. Or, again, I could travel to the right to +2 and then rotate in a clockwise or negative direction to get back to that point. So if I went halfway around, that would be 3 pi over 3. I didn't go halfway around, I went 1 pi over 3 less, so that would be 2 pi over 3 in the negative direction. So I've got 2 comma negative 2 pi over 3. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. You may want to watch these videos a couple more times and maybe try the problems on your own. And we'll see you in the next video.